Hello students, welcome back. I am your teacher Meenal Pereira. I hope you all are taking proper care of yourself by eating proper food and of course by staying at home. So, welcome to my class. In today's session, we will be starting with lesson number 2, that is plants, structure and function. And what we will be studying in this lesson is, we will be studying about roots, structure and type, stem, structure, leaf, structure and type, flower, structure, fruit, structure and type. So let's begin, and first we will begin with the most important part, that is root. Let's recall what helps us to easily identify the plants around us. The various parts of the plant help us to easily identify the plants around us. You know that we have so many plants around us. Are all plants look alike or same? No, they are different. So, different parts of the plant help us to identify the plant. Then, which are the various parts of the plant? I am sure you all know this answer very well. The various parts are root, stem, leaves, flower and fruit. The root, stem, leaves, flower, fruit of different plants are different. We can identify plants with the help of these different characteristics. Let us now acquaint ourselves with these plant organs in greater details. Acquaint means get to know or knowledge. We will be studying about each part in details. Before going to the actual structure of root, let's try this. Keep a moist ball of crumbled paper in a conical flask. See this shape, children? This shape is of cone. Therefore, it is called as conical flask. Place some soaked moth beans or gram seeds. So you can keep the seeds of moong or peas, any seeds that you have, in the flask between the paper and the glass wall. Now, why are we taking a moist? Moist means wet with water, because you all know that plant require water to grow. Observe and note the changes in the seeds in 2 to 3 days. Let's see what happens after 2 to 3 days. So after 2 to 3 days, what will happen is, nicely we can see the seeds have now developed this kind of structure. Okay, so we see that the seeds are grown, or what we call as germination of seed. Okay, so the seed develop root and shoot. Okay, so let's see how it is. Okay, so now in this diagram, you can see how a root or a shoot develops from the seed. Now we will study about root. So in this part, we are going to concentrate more on roots. The part that grows from inside the seed towards the soil is called radicle. So now, see, this is our main seed. This is the part that grows towards the soil, and this is called as radicle. The root that forms from the radicle grows into the ground, and this we all know that the root grows inside the ground. The root is thick near the ground and gradually tapers to a point end. Now this is the soil. This is near the ground. You can see that the root is thick, and as it goes towards the soil, it tapers. Tapers means becoming pointed, like needle-like. Okay, so you see here the structure of the root. Here it is thick. Here it is thin. This part of the plant growing below the soil for support is called root. Okay, so we all know that the roots are growing inside the soil. Whereas the green color part we can see is the part that grows above the soil is called as plumule, and then the stem or the shoot develops from the plumule. Okay, so radicle from which the root develops and plumule from which the seeds develop or stem develop. Roots of some plants produce secondary roots that grows obliquely and spread far and wide in the soil. Roots support the plant. This type of root is called a taproot. Now please look at the diagram here. See here, this is the main root which is very thick, and then what you see here, the roots are becoming thin. Okay, so this is the primary root or the main root, and this is the secondary root. Okay, so that is called as, this type of root is called as a taproot. Now coming to the structure of the root. Now structure of the root, as you can see from the diagram, the primary root, the main root and the secondary root I already explained you. Now let's see about some more parts. Okay. Root bears hair-like processes near the root tip. These are root hair. Okay, so see here, you can see hair-like structure. These are called as root hair. Then the root tip is delicate. This is the region for the growth of the root. Now here we can see the tip of the root, and this is the root tip which is delicate. Delicate means very you can say soft or can get break very easily. But this is the important region because that is for the growth of the root. The tip is covered by cap-like structure called root cap. Okay, you all wear cap, children. What is the use of cap? Cap protects your head, no? Same like that. Since this root tip is very delicate, it is covered by a structure that is called as root cap. And what is the function of the root cap? It protects the root tip from injuries. Now, let's study about the second type of roots, that is fibrous root. Take a glass jar and fill 3/4 of it with water. Place an onion on the mouth of the jar in such a way that the roots are towards the water. See here, you all have seen onion. This is a glass jar and we see that the roots, small roots are there. Okay, now after few days what we will see, observe the growth of the root for 8 days. Thread-like fiber roots arising from the stem are called as fibrous root. Okay, so here we can see the second diagram, the fibrous root. Okay, so are these root different from the taproot? Yes, of course. Okay, so see, these are the fibrous root. There is no main root as such. There is no primary and secondary root. All the roots are very small, delicate and alike. Okay, so these are called as fibrous roots. Thus, there are two main types of root, taproot and fibrous root. Now, monocotyledonous plants have fibrous root. These are monocotyledonous plant, means with a single seed, or the seed can be divided into one part. And then we have the dicotyledonous plants that has taproot or that have taproot. Di means two. So when a seed can be divided into two parts, it is called as dicotyledonous plants. Okay. Now let's try one more activity. Sow the seeds of plant like mustard means rye, sorghum that is jawar, maize that is makkah or corn, pea that is your vatana and coriander that is your kothimbir into an earthen pot. Cultivate the plants for 8 days. Put them gently in a large flask containing water. The soil will get washed off without any harm to the roots. Now we are going to observe the roots, so we are not going to break the root. Then how do we remove the soil? Okay, we can just place the particular plants gently in the flask so that the soil is washed away. Observe the root carefully to see which plants have taproots and which have fibrous roots. So some of these plants will have taproots and some will have fibrous root. Plants like maize, sugarcane or jawar have two types of roots. Some roots are underground, whereas some grow from the stem just above the soil. Now, one type of root we have already studied, the root that are growing inside the soil. Now, look at these roots. Are these inside the soil? If it is inside, can we see them? No. Okay, so these are the roots. Those are outside. Okay, so these are called as adventitious roots. So a new type of roots which are called as adventitious. And what is the function? They do a normal function like absorption of water and mineral, and also they anchor, that means support the plant. Okay, so adventitious root. Then root shows some modifications to perform these additional functions. Okay, so some roots are there. Normal root is there and they have to perform some more functions. So therefore, they show some additional features. Let's see some example. Okay, this are the first one is the aerial roots. You all have seen aerial roots. Okay, it gives support and also use for breathing. We have seen aerial roots in case of a banyan tree. Then we have the silt roots. Now these are the type of roots. These are adventitious roots. Just now we studied. Okay, so that is basically for the support. Then we have the runners. Now runners are mainly seen in grass. You all have lawn or grass. Okay, so see, this is the grass and these roots help the grass to grow. And then we have breathing roots. Now as the name suggests, it helps the plants to breathe. Now see, some of the plants are submerged in water. Okay, now the plant needs to breathe. So these are called breathing root which help the plant to breathe. Okay, so beside normal function, that is absorption of water and mineral, root also gives support. Then it helps in breathing, and for that it shows various modification. Okay. Now, let's try one more activity. Take some water in a small glass, put a plantlet in it in such a way that the roots are dipped in water. Mark the water level on the jar and add 5 ml of oil to the water. Why are we adding oil here? So that we can see the layer of oil, because water in a clean glass will not be able to see. Record the water level on the next day. What do you observe? We observe that level of water in the glass jar goes down. So this tells us that root absorb water. Okay, so root absorb water and support the plant. Now one information. Root emerging from the trunk and branches of a banyan tree grow towards the soil. These roots are called as prop roots. Okay, so aerial roots as well as very similar to that we have prop roots. Now what are the uses? In the beginning, the banyan tree has very few prop roots, but later their number increases so much that it appears like a small forest. See, look at the diagram here. This is one banyan tree, but it looks like a small forest. In Kolkata, a 250 years old banyan tree is in the Indian Botanical Garden, covers a very large area, is supported by thousands of prop roots. Okay, so these are the prop roots. So I hope you all are very clear about the roots. Okay, so let's quickly recap what we have studied in this module. In this module, we studied about root, what is radicle and what is plumule. The root develops from the radicle and the shoot develops from the plumule. We studied about the structure of the root. We studied about the root tip, root hair, root cap. Then we studied about the taproot and the fibrous root, and also we studied the modified roots performing various functions. Okay, so I hope you are very clear. You understood the root part very well. Please read the lesson carefully. Okay, so I hope you understood. Thank you very much and take care.